All right. Happy New Year, everyone. This is the first day of 2021, and I know there's a lot of buzz and excitement around kind of ending 2020 for obvious reasons and just kind of getting a fresh start. For me personally, um, the new year, I have an interesting relationship with it because I feel like just because the number changes doesn't necessarily mean things automatically change, and I think we all kind of know that. But at the same time, I am thankful for 2020, not because it was like it was like a great problem free year, but because I learned and experienced a lot of things I think I've taken for granted, and so I think this year, 2020 really taught me to be grateful, grateful for the things that I just never really thought to be grateful for, you know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, Happy New Year's, everyone. Thanks for, taking the time to, just, you know, chill out, hang out for a little bit. As you can see, we still have our Christmas decorations up. And, it was a very interesting holiday season for sure. We didn't have any family members or friends over for obvious reasons. Several of my family members were actually really sick with COVID-19 and had complications. And so, yeah, it was a crazy roller coaster ride. But, I'm thankful that they're alive, you know what I'm saying? And that they're on the up and up. So yeah, this video is just really gonna be just kind of like a freestyle talk. I'm gonna bring in some of the gear that I have coming into 2021, some thoughts, some kind of, I guess you could say, goals. I'm not really big into resolutions, but I do kind of want to share kind of like where I feel like I want to, achieve or kind of go towards. So first things first, I want to kind of share like the knives and tools. I'm going to say tools because it kind of encompasses pocket knives, multi-tools, and all that fun stuff. So, well, before I even start, one of the kind of goals I have for 2021 in terms of my knife hobby is actually want to not buy any new knives. And I know it's kind of weird to do that, considering that most of my videos on my YouTube channel is like knife reviews and pocket knives and all that. But I feel like I still have enough like tools and knives to make different videos and discuss different things about different knives and my gear and why I decide to bring it into my collection and my rotation. So yeah, I know it's crazy. I know, like, I'm sure 2021 is gonna be full of awesome knives, and I'm sure I'm gonna have moments of weakness where I'm like, oh man, like I wish I didn't have that, that resolution or whatever. But I'm gonna try to remain strong. And this is really more connected to I want to be more financially responsible, more financially healthy. I feel like at the end of the day, this is just a hobby. No one should be going into debt. No one should be, spending money that they should be spending on your family or food or bills. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, it's really just being financially responsible and just, yeah, that's what it's really all about. So with that, I'm sharing this because I do want to stay accountable to it this year, 365 days. For 2022, who knows, right? But I will take it year by year, month by month, day by day, So with that being said, the tools and knives that I've decided to kind of remain in my collection that's going to kind of carry me through to 2021. I'm going to start with the fixed blades, and maybe I'll kind of share my experience with them. Not like a full-on review or anything, just like a short little blip about my experience with each of the tools. All right, so I'll start with the oldest fixed blade that I've had. I've probably had this for maybe 5, 6, or 7 years now. This is the K-Bar BKT Becker Knives and Tools. This is the BK2. This is what I would consider like the Rambo knife. It's a huge knife. I don't have the specs on this knife, but it is absolutely big. And just to kind of show how big this is and how chunky it is, you could even see that blade stock is ridiculously thick. And in the years that I've had, you can see that the finish has worn off, and it's because when I would go camping, this would be like my like all-purpose camping knife. You can see it's really beat up. I mean, I did not baby this thing. This is missing a screw. You know, the pommel's all like jacked up because I mean, I did ridiculous things with this knife. So just to compare how big this knife is, I want to bring in, you know, I think everyone's kind of familiar with the SE. This is the 3-inch. And it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, it's like a chunky, it's a chunky boy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when I would go camping, I'd take this knife. I did not have an axe with me, so this literally, I use this knife to like split like logs and sticks and wood, and I would stab this into things and just like whack it sideways to like split things apart. And man, this has held up really well. It's just not like the best slicer by any stretch of your imagination, but it does cut. You know, I would probably not use this to slice tomatoes or prep food, but it will get the job done if it requires you to do it with this. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is really comfortable in the hand. Yeah, I think they still produce these. So yeah, that's my first fixed blade knife. The second one I just brought in was the SE. This is the SE3HM. I believe HM stands for handle modified, because if you know the normal kind of SE configuration is they do have like a forward finger choil and more of a blocky handle. But this one actually comes like in a broom style where it's kind of all like rounded off. Super comfortable. I've had the Ontario Rat 3, which is very similar to the SE3. And I ended up giving that to a friend of mine. And I ended up picking this up a little later. And this is really comfortable in hand. It's a really just all around great knife. It's not so big where it's going to be like just boom, you know what I mean? Like Crocodile Dundee status. This is going to be, you know, you'll be able to wear this under a shirt and still be able to kind of keep it, you know, kind of concealed or at least a little bit more subtle, you know what I mean? Yeah, just full flat grind, just really tough, 1095, really tough, you know, what do you call it, like a coating on it. I've taken this has become like my go-to like all-purpose camp knife, and just really comfortable. You know, that micarta handle, it's just everything's rounded off. It's just really, it feels really good in the hand. You know, you could do the pinch grip, that feels good. You could do kind of the normal kind of grip, that feels good. You could do the I don't know the name of the grips, but yeah, in every way you hold this thing, it's super comfortable. And to me, like, a knife should be fairly comfortable when you're using it, even especially if you're using it for long periods of times, or if you're using it to kind of go through very tough material. It should be as comfortable in your hand as possible. So yeah, this is the SE3HM. Awesome knife. They have that lifetime, no questions asked warranty. You could break this thing in half, send it in, and they'll send you a new knife, like no questions asked. So yeah, this is awesome. The third fixed blade knife I have is also from SE. As you can tell, I'm a big SE fan just because they make amazing knives, man. Not just knives, they have like, I believe they do have like a hatchet or tomahawk style tool. They have like cleavers, they have like knives in various like sizes. This is like on their smaller end. It's not their smallest knife that they make, but it is a smallest. I believe this is like maybe like 2.5-inch blade. I feel like this, if you're into like neck knives or like everyday carry fixed blade knives, I feel like the SE Izula, this is the first one with the shorter handle. I feel like this is perfect because, you know, you got kind of like that full flat grind. You got like that 2.5-inch blade. It's still very capable. It still has a relatively thick blade stock, but still cuts, you know, fairly well, and it's pretty comfortable in the hand. I do have small to medium sized hands. I could still get four finger grip on it, but my pinky does kind of hang out a little bit over the edge into that hole. But I know there is, I believe it's a knife connection. They make micarta or G10 scales that kind of cover over that, so you could kind of get a full 4-finger grip very comfortably. But this is, if you want to carry a fixed blade knife as an everyday carry, I feel like the SC Zula or even the Zula 2, which has a little bit of a longer handle, it fits the bill for you. So yeah, that's my third fixed blade. Sorry, I have like kind of knives all around me, so that's why you see me kind of bending down, because I have some right in front of me on the floor. The next tool is a multi-tool. I feel like multi-tools, honestly, utility-wise, is the most valuable, most useful tool for you, just because you got so many tools in a very compact, carryable package. You know what I mean? So the multi-tool that I have, this is a Victorinox Spirit X, I believe. And I love this. I've had this for, man, like 7 years. You know, I've taken this all over the place, camping, backpacking. This is literally like, I mean, it's been so useful for me, you know. So you got like the pliers, and then the great thing about this particular model is that, you know, all the tools are located on the outside of the handle. So you know, a lot of multi-tools will have the tools kind of on the inside, so you kind of have to first open it up and then try to access your tools. But the great thing about Victorinox, this one, is that they actually made the tools on the outside, so you don't have to take it out or actually open it up. All you have to do is just, you know, it's already on the outside, and just pull it out, boom, ready to go. You know what I mean? So it's just one less action to worry about. And also the great thing is that these are also locking as well. So once it is deployed, it's not going anywhere. It's very solid. There's no movement in any direction. And then there's this little pull tab. So all you gotta do is pull down, and then it disengages and it goes back into the handle. So yeah, like I said, I've had this for several years. It's been in every type of environment, and it's really just taking everything like a champ. It's been such a useful tool to have. It is a little bit heavy, you know, it's a little bit heavy for sure, but you know, the trade-off of it is that you get so many different tools on this thing. One tool that I love using is the scissors. You know, it's very useful to have, you know, when you have like maybe like a loose thread, or you need to cut some paracord or whatever. You could actually use this to cut fingernails too. So anyway, this is my multi-tool, my go-to. Awesome tool. The second multi-tool I have, of course, is the Swiss Army knife. Man, this is like a standard, you know. My favorite model of all time, because they have many different models, is the I believe this is the Tinker Deluxe, I believe. And the reason why I love the Tinker model is because, again, it comes with the scissors, and anytime I need to trim my fingernails, man, this scissor is super useful. It gets the job done. Yeah, it has everything that I need, nothing that I don't, you know what I mean? And it's a 3-layer, you know, so you'll see it's 3 layers. You know, they have 2 layers. They have, I don't know if they have a single layer, maybe they have like 4 layers, 5 layers, but I feel like a 3-layer Swiss Army knife is perfect. Sits easy in the pocket, you know, it's relatively lightweight, and it's just a really good size. So yeah, this is, I believe, the Tinker or the Tinker Deluxe model. Highly recommend it. Now moving on to this is my folding pocket knives. So the majority of my rotation, my collection are going to be folding knives. That's what you'll find in my pocket on the daily. So I'll start off with a traditional slip joint. And if you do want to see reviews on these knives that I'm pulling up, I do have them on my YouTube channel, more in-depth reviews. So I think I have all the knives that I've reviewed. actually. So the first one is a slip joint. The traditional style. This is a Great Eastern Cutlery number 71 bull nose. I'm not a slip joint guy, but I'm glad I have at least this one to kind of represent the slip joint family, the traditional family. This is a Great Eastern Cutlery makes awesome slip joints, awesome traditional knives, or I'll say traditional style knives. Their fit and finish is, bar none, the best. Everything's, really, what do you call it? Rounded off. There's no like sharp edges or like, machining, flaws or anything like that. It's just a really well made blade, and it's just, honestly, even though this is a non-locking knife, once it's open, it feels like it's locked into place. But yeah, it is a non-locking knife. This is a great slip joint to have. They're not as available. They kind of come in waves, different runs. So just kind of check periodically. And I believe, they should have, more. With that being said, I'm gonna move on to, in no particular order. This is the DPX Hest Folder Classic Decade Edition. They came out with this knife to really celebrate their 10-year anniversary. So they, they made this version with the micarta scales, the M390 blade, just an all-around, just awesome workhorse of a knife. It's a really beefy folder, but I've carried this a lot in December, and it's just been awesome. It's my first. So that's that. The next knife that I'm kind of carrying too. Actually, this knife I might actually sell because, I don't really carry it. But this is the discontinued ZT 0560 Blackwash Edition. I mean, this is this is a big folder. Awesome knife. Very solid, very like tank-like. Yeah, awesome. They don't make zero tolerance. They don't make these anymore. I don't know why, man, because this is such an awesome knife. But yeah, so that's that. Next one I want to bring out, I'll kind of keep with the ZT family. So the next one is the ZT 0308. I believe came out in 2020. And this is an awesome kind of a big knife that carries smaller than it appears, because it is relatively thin, so it sits really flat against the body. It has an amazing flipping action, as you can see, is pretty much drop shutty. Just very glass-like action, very solid lockup. I mean, if you're kind of looking, I'm not a big knife guy. Like I said, I have small to medium-sized hands, and I'm kind of small-framed, so I don't really typically carry big knives. But I got this one because I was really interested in what ZT was doing, because this is kind of really reminiscent of like the old like ZT knives, kind of like the big, beefy, kind of DNA that they were known for back in the day. So me being just a knife nut, I just wanted to check it out, and I absolutely love it. I don't carry it as much. It's more like a weekend carry when I'm wearing jeans or something. Awesome knife. If you're looking to kind of get a bigger knife, I would say go with an 0308. You won't be disappointed. The next ZT knife that I have is one of my favorite everyday carries of all time. Is a ZT 0562 Thai. So this comes in different variations. The most common one would be they have this in the carbon fiber handle scale, and then the other side is titanium. I had that one about maybe 2 years ago, and for some reason that carbon fiber scale wasn't jiving with me, so I ended up trading it or selling it, and then I ended up getting this guy, and I feel like this is a perfect, having two titanium scales to me makes all the difference in the world. This has an awesome, it feels very ergonomic in hand. I would rate this as like a medium-sized knife, and it cuts, well. It has a really awesome action. Um, yeah, it's just everything about this knife for me is just perfect. I would say this is my favorite zero tolerance knife I've ever owned. Yeah, so this is great. So that's all my zero tolerance knives. Let me see now. I'll go into my Spyderco family. When I first started on this knife hobby about 10, 11 years ago, Spyderco was one of the companies that I gravitated towards because they're just really high quality. They're relatively affordable, and you just get a lot for your money. And yeah, it's just a very dependable tool and awesome company. They've been around for a long time. So the first Spyderco I want to bring out is this is the Paramilitary 2. I mean, if you are in any way into the knife hobby, you would have heard about the Paramilitary 2 because it's such an awesome knife. I mean, if you only had to have one knife for the rest of your life, I think like the Paramilitary 2, you cannot go wrong with this knife. It's lightweight, it's feels really good in the hand. It cuts really well. It's easy to sharpen. This is S30V, and yeah, it has like that forward finger choil, and yeah, this is such a capable folder, man. I mean, yeah, you cannot go wrong with this folder. So that's the Paramilitary 2. And then I'm gonna bring its little brother, the Para 3. This is a very modified version of it. This is a Para 3 in the Maximate steel. I love the steel. Super sharp. I've had it for maybe about 6-7 months. I did not sharpen it once and still holds the razor edge. But it's not a stainless steel, so it will kind of start to stain, patina, and possibly rust. As you can see, you can see that patina all over that blade, but I love it. To me, it's just gives a knife character, you know what I mean? I did fit this knife with the titanium scales, and I think it's an awesome addition to the knife. It kind of really takes it to the next level. And then these screws, I got these are titanium anodized screws from Blades We Love, and he makes a great product. You can find his stuff, I believe, on eBay. Very affordable, very good quality. He makes parts for all sorts of knives. But yeah, I love this knife. This is like it feels really good in the hand, and it has a very similar DNA to the Para 3, but in a smaller package. And then you get that crazy super steel Maximate. You just cannot. This is like a turbo version, I want to say. Yeah. So that's that. And then my third Spyderco is the Swayback. I believe they released this year. In 2020. And this is an awesome Spyderco, man. When I first saw this on their new release catalog, I was like, man, I gotta check it out. So just unique. The Swayback design, this profile, and they did such an awesome job with this deep hollow grind. It just cuts incredibly well. I would say it'd be on par, or maybe even better than the Para 3. But that's my personal experience with it. Yeah, great knife. Now I'm gonna go ahead and let me reorganize here a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of move into This is the Mass Drop Keen. This was Mass Drop's collaboration with Ray Laconico. I'm a big fan of his work. I don't own any of his customs, unfortunately, but I have owned 2 of his collaborations. One is this one. Awesome knife. I mean, I believe Mass Drop, now known as Drop, they still have this available, and it comes with different color configurations. Great knife. I believe these were manufactured by We Knives, and if you know anything about We Knives, awesome company. Their quality is just awesome. So yeah, the flipping action is is great. The detent is dialed in just right. It fires, you know, hard, very smooth, running on a caged ceramic ball bearings. Awesome. It's very comfortable in the hand because it has a very natural handle shape. So it just accommodates all sorts of grips, you know. It just feels very comfortable. And then it has like that very versatile like spear point, you know. Yeah, just a great overall knife, you know. The next one is a Giant Mouse knife Nimbus version 1. In 2020, they came out with a version 2. I believe the micarta scales are a little bit more contoured. They made a little bit, you know, they made different little tweaks to it, but I love the version 1. I think I prefer the version 1 just because version 1 comes in the M390 steel. And yeah, it just is awesome. And it's running on ball bearings. I believe version 2 comes in LMAX steel and is running on phosphor bronze washers. But yeah, I just love the overall look performance of the version 1 a little bit more. I feel like the design of it lends to the kind of the blocky handle. And I like blocky handles too because, like, for instance, a Paramilitary 2 has a very square blocky handle, but it's very comfortable. And I feel like that is kind of similar to this guy. It's just, you know, it's blocky, but it's very comfortable. So that is my Giant Mouse Nimbus version 1. Awesome knife, by the way. Let me see here. The next one, I want to say this is kind of a interesting one. I got this, I believe, last year. This is the James brand Chapter knife in the Damasteel. I believe it's the Rose Damasteel. And you know, when I was kind of looking at reviews and just talking to different knife nuts out there about the James brand, man, I got like a lot of kind of like, just, I don't know what it was. It was like kind of like people were saying that, oh man, that company's like for hipsters, that you know, that it is overpriced, and there's just a lot of kind of just negative like vibe to it, you know. But I don't know why, you know, because to be honest, I feel like the James brand is a great company. You know, they really, they're all about just like living your life, like kind of charting your own course, like the adventure, you know, and they just made tools, you know, and so I feel like to kind of, you know, say things about a company without either number one experiencing it or just kind of going off of what you've heard. I just feel like that's, you know, that's kind of like, I don't know what to call it. Anyways, I was really interested in knife because of like how interesting the design is. It reminds me of like a Wrigley's stick of gum, but it's actually very comfortable in the hand. It kind of has like a Puko style kind of design, you know what I mean? But it's great. It's a really well-made knife. You know, it just feels really good in the hand. And yeah, like I just thought the design was very unique, you know? It looks very like futuristic, very I would say kind of like an Apple computer, you know what I mean? But yeah, it just, I don't know, it just really spoke to me, like this design and kind of what the company was about. Check them out, you know, you could go on the website, you know, and just kind of read about like what they're all about and the people that they work with and just the stories that they share. I feel like, man, it's pretty cool. And I want to support them, you know. So this is a great, this is the Chapter knife, really cool knife. The next one I wanted to bring out, this is going to be the Hinder XM18 3-inch in the Warncliffe blade. This is their Generation 6 with the tri-way pivot. Right, currently I have it on the phosphor bronze washers. I've kind of cycled through all three options. So I've had it with the ball bearing pivot, and then that was really cool, and then I switched it to the Teflon washers. That was nice, and then finally I switched it over to their phosphor bronze washers, and all three worked awesome. You know, a really great knife. You know, if you're into this knife game, you know about the XM18. This is, I mean, man, This knife is awesome. The only thing is that flipper tab, it is a little sharp, so I would say it's not the most fidgety of knives, but I don't think Hinderer really designed this to be a fidget knife. He designed a workhorse of a knife, and that's really what it is. It's just bulletproof, very tough. I'm sure that it'll be able to handle pretty much anything that I could throw at it. So yeah, great knife. Now the last kind of family of knives I'm going to be going through is going to be my Chris Reeves. I'm a huge Chris Reeves fan. I love just kind of just the their manufacturing just prowess, the ability to take the knife apart, its cutting performance, it's just their warranty, customer service. I mean, they're kind of like on top of the knife game in terms of like, production knives. And I feel like, yeah, so I'm going to just kind of share with you the ones that I've brought into my rotation over the years. The first one, this is the Sebenza 21 small with the micarta scales. And yeah, I've had this knife for 4 years, 5 years maybe. I don't remember. I've had it for a while, and it's held up really well. I kind of actually prefer this kind of style of their scales versus the newer ones. The newer ones are like one piece. Let me see, yeah. And I kind of prefer this kind of two piece, visually and how it feels in the hand. But yeah, this is my small 21 micarta. The next one, I'll stay with the smalls first. I'll bring in, this is the Sebenza 31. So they rolled out the 31 model, I think in 2020, I want to say. This is the, what do you call it? Shoot, I've just totally blanked out on the wood. You know what it is if you're into Chris Reeve knives. Maple? I don't remember. Elder box elder. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Awesome. Even though I prefer the two-piece handle, this still feels really good in the hand. It feels a little bit more chunkier just because it is like one piece, but it does fill the hand in real nice. Great thing about the 31 is they integrated the ceramic ball interface in the lock, so you don't get that double clutch. It's just a single. So yeah, great, just small everyday. I mean, amazing knife. The next knife I want to talk about, this is this small this is Sebenza 21 small in single. I feel like their in single blade shape is like the most useful, just because you have like that point that's a little bit lower than like a traditional drop point, so you don't have to kind of crook your wrist, to kind of do these kind of cuts. You know what I mean? So that drop, that point is already dropped down, so it's really easy to kind of cut through boxes or slice or whatnot. I like to hold my knives typically in a pinch grip, so I feel like the single blade really lends itself to that kind of style of cutting. And this knife is very special to me. And if you notice, I don't have lanyards on most of my knives. Actually, I think really this is the only knife that I have a lanyard on it. And the reason why is because this knife, I got this knife soon after my sister passed away. My sister Hannah, and I don't know if I got this knife to kind of commemorate or anything like that, but I feel like it's kind of something special when you have an object where every time you look at it or you're kind of using it, it reminds you of something special or someone special. And so yeah, this knife really reminds me of my sister. And I kind of got this purple lanyard, to kind of keep, make that, this knife, to make that a little bit more special. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is I feel like this is an all-around great everyday carry tool for sure. You know, yeah, very special knife. It's not going anywhere. It's what do you call, like a forever type of a knife, you know. So yeah, now I'm gonna move on to my large Chris Reeve knife rotation. The first one, this is also a very special knife. This is the large Nkosi and Singo blade. And this knife actually has a very special meaning too, because this knife is, I got this knife after my brother-in-law passed away. Soon after, actually, you know, my sister had passed away, and then her husband, my brother-in-law, then passed away, you know, a couple months after that. And so, yeah, this knife is, you know, it's just to, you know, yeah, just to remember him by. You know, it's cool. You know, it's I think it's kind of cool to have knives as kind of a commemorative piece, because you always carry it on you. So every time you take it out and you're using it, it just reminds you of that person or that thing. So yeah, this is to really, you know, keep him in my memories. You know, yeah, this is a great knife. I mean, so capable. Anyways, yeah. And then the second kind of large, this is the large Sebenza 21 in the Raindrop Damascus. This knife is super, super special. So this knife isn't going anywhere either. This knife isn't going in anywhere either, because this shares a birthday with a very special someone. And so, if you know anything about Chris Reeve knives, when you get their knives, it comes with a birth card, and it tells you what date, what month, date, and year the knife was born or made. And so, you know, it's a thing where people would look for, you know, certain dates to kind of commemorate, you know, either like a birthday or a special event, you know what I mean? And so this knife is one of those. It was made on a very special day, and it's never gonna leave my collection. And on top of that, I'm super glad I got this in that Damascus plain Jane. I feel like it's very comfortable in the hand, very capable, awesome knife. So that's that. The last Chris Reeve knives I have is actually, this is the last knife that I got for 2020, and this is the Untitled. I just got this a couple days ago. Man, I actually had the Wilson Combat Edition version with that starburst milling. I ended up selling it or trading it, and I just regretted it, you know. And so after a while, you know, I was looking for, man, you could not find an Untitled for a while. It was like, you know, out of order everywhere. And finally I saw it on Knife Ship Free a few days ago or last week, and then I ended up getting it as kind of like my last knife of 2020, because like I said, 2021, I'm not looking to buy any more knives. So yeah, I'm super glad that this was kind of like my last 2020 knife, you know. And this knife was really bought to kind of remember the lessons learned for 2020. I know we all want to kind of forget 2020 because it's been such a hard year, but at the same time, I think it's really important to kind of remember the things that that we learned, to remember the things that we, you know, learned to be grateful for, things that we took granted for in the past. And so I feel like, yeah, I think we all learned a lot about, you know, ourselves. I know for sure I learned a lot about myself and the people around me. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of commemorate this, you know, 2020. So this is a knife that I got, and I want to make sure I got this before 2021, because actually I was kind of waiting around. I had this knife on order from the Chris Reeve Knives headquarters, but I knew that it was going to take, you know, a while for them to kind of fulfill my order, and it was going to be made in 2021, and it's going to come into S45 VN steel. But I kind of wanted to have a knife made in 2020 to kind of commemorate 2020. And I love the S35 VN that Chris Reeve, you know, how they kind of heat treat it and do that. So yeah, so I ended up pulling the trigger on this knife. So yeah, that's kind of like my last knife purchase of 2020. that's pretty much it though. Those are all my tools, all the knives that I'm kind of bringing into 2021. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is kind of a longer video, but I do want to wish you guys happy New Year's, and I know we're all kind of hoping that 2021 is gonna be better, and that things are gonna be like reset and all that. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest change that could happen is if you decide to make that change yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's the circumstances are gonna happen to you. Life is gonna happen to you. Like, so I feel like the true kind of lasting transformative changes are the ones that you decide to make yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be a big. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be like, what, I've never walked before. I've never exercised before, but what, this year I'm gonna walk, half a mile or 1 mile, or one of my goals for 2021 is I want to run a marathon. I've never done that before, and I was never really into running, but I started to run in 2020. I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Man, I love that. I love it, but everything got shut down, and so I just started running. And man, I slowly kind of fell in love with the process of running. The process of like that progression. And the process of like getting into the zone and just like getting into the rhythm of breathing, of just putting one foot in front of the other. And so, yeah, whatever your goals are, I don't know if you're into like resolutions or goals or anything like that. I know a lot of people aren't into that because they don't want to set themselves up to fail or whatnot. But you know what? Like, set yourself up to succeed. You know what I mean? Set yourself up to like thrive, to grow. Like I feel like that's a more healthier mentality, because even if you don't reach your goal or like your resolution, you've learned something. And I feel like sometimes the most valuable lasting lessons we learn is the ones that we learn from failure and mistakes. Like, I know for a fact that I've made so many mistakes this year. I've fell short on so many goals and so many things, but man, like, I've come to like learn from them, and I think 2020 really afforded that space to do that, because we were all locked down. So I feel like if there's any blessing that came out of 2020, is just that it all forced us, it forced me to really sit and be still, and to just learn to appreciate the space and the stillness. But I know at the same time, for a lot of people too, that isolation was really tough too. So I don't want to ignore that fact either. But all is to say is that, set yourself up to like succeed. Set yourself up to like thrive and to be challenged and to learn and to grow. And like I said, it doesn't have to be like a monumental goal. It could be just something as simple as, what, I'm gonna try a new type of food, or I'm gonna try walking, 1 mile, or running 1 mile, or running a 6K or a 10K, or giving money to charity, or fostering, I don't know, whatever is in your heart. I think the bottom line is like, set yourself up to thrive. Yeah, so 2021, the first day is a beautiful day. I'm out here in California, and man, California does not disappoint in terms of weather. It's sunny, it's beautiful, it's a nice breeze coming through, and it just feels like the first day of 2021. It feels very fresh. Yeah, with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful happy new year. And I just wish the very best 2021 for you. And regardless of how it turns out, whether for the worse or for better, my hope for you is that that you'll be all the better for it. That you'll grow in understanding. You'll grow in like, you know, the lessons learned. You know, you know, my big hope is that for you is that you'll become richer, not so much like, you know, monetary wise, but more of like richer in your relationships, richer in our how we spend our time, richer in how we look at life, richer in our vision, you know, and oh, you know, talking about, and that just reminded me. Like I said, this is freestyle, so I was gonna end the video, but I do want to talk about one thing. You know, 2020, I started making videos. You know, I never saw myself, you know, making a YouTube channel, and I know it doesn't. Honestly, it does not. It doesn't take much to set up a channel and to make videos per se. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is just create a channel, turn on your camera phone. I literally use my phone, my iPhone. All my videos are on iPhone. I feel like the work and the time really goes into editing, and I've come to really enjoy that aspect of it, of editing and just kind of trying different things, and I love it. It's super fun to me, but it is time consuming. So you know what, like I've come to understand like these YouTubers, like these full-time YouTube channels, man, props to them, man, because I can't imagine how much work and time and creative energy and commitment it takes to, like, you know, make videos. Like, you know, some people are making videos like every day or every other day, and that's so much dedication. And I could understand why, like, you know, these YouTubers like get burned out and they stop making content and whatnot, because dude, it's like it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of like mental energy to think about, you know, like content and what kind of videos to make. So I just really respect people that decide to kind of take this on full time, because it's not as easy as it looks, you know. Like us on the other end, like the consumers, like we just click on a video and we watch it and that's it, you know. For the YouTube like creators, man, they're like having to think about like, how do we edit this, and you know, like everything is so much work. It takes so much creative like energy too. I've been personally enjoying it because this is just a hobby for me, but I know there's people out there, this is like their livelihood, and I respect that, man. I respect the work and the hustle it takes to, like, you know, like to make it like your livelihood, you know. But yeah, in 2020, actually started this, you know. And, you know, I think a lot of people started making videos and created YouTube channels because, like, we're all, like, at home. And so this was kind of like a natural kind of thing to do, I would say. Yeah, for me, it was kind of like a way to kind of keep my knife hobby, like, you know, interesting and engaging for myself and for the knife community. And it has been so, you know. It's been a very, like, enriching experience for me. And so, yeah, that's kind of like what I did in 2020. So I guess, you know what, I'll share kind of like the things that I've done in 2020. So yeah, I made the YouTube channel, and I do want to shout out, okay? Shout out. I think this is my first official shout out to Smiling Islander, man, because like he created a YouTube channel. Check him out, man. He makes awesome videos on like cooking, food. You know, he's from Sri Lanka, so he makes like these amazing dishes that are just, they're not like the norm, but they're delicious. They're amazing. He's an awesome dude. You know, I'm very thankful and privileged to call him my friend. And so, yeah, like he really inspired me to continue on this YouTube journey. But yeah, check him out, Smiling Islander, man. Yeah, I do want to like do some videos with him in terms of like, you know, because I love camping and the outdoors. So I do want to do like a outdoor cooking kind of series in the future with him. So if you're watching this, I know we talked about it, but yeah, I definitely want to do that in 2021. But yeah, so I did this. Unfortunately, I stopped doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But once things are a little bit more back to, I guess, normal, And I do want to get back into it because I feel like honestly, for me, I've been such an enriching um, thing, man. You learn to respect people. You learn to value people. You come to terms with your own like weakness, like your own, like you're not invincible. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been tapped out, and when I say tapped out, it means like so anytime the person has you like in a strangle, like they're about to like get you unconscious or about to break something, like break like your arm or something, you tap out. It tells the other person, hey, you got me, I give up, and then we start over. And that's the beauty of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is that you get to tap out. And so I can't tell you how many times I've tapped out, man, like, and it's super humbling, like I've tapped out against like people that I know that I was stronger than them, that I was bigger than them, I was faster, I was more athletic, but they had more experience. They knew, they had a better grasp of how the body works, and literally they just outsmarted me, and so that really humbled me in a lot of ways, because I was like, man, I was getting tapped out by like 13-year-olds, I was getting tapped out by like 50-year-old, and so like it's just like, man, it's a very humbling combat sport for sure. What else? Dang, I started a new job, that has been challenging, but I've been learning and growing as a leader, as a supervisor. Let me see. Oh man, I don't know. I've done 2020 is so much has happened, man. I wrote, some new songs, Um, man, I don't know. Like, what else? Oh man, I can't believe I almost forgot this one, man. This is I started a company. I co-founded an outdoor venture company with, five of my friends, and we went on our first kind of like our adventure company trip in November of 2020 to Death Valley. And so yeah, man, that's a huge one. I'm very, very proud of that one, because my friends and I and my wife, we all, we've been going on camping trips for, man, over 10 years, and finally in January of 2020, like, I was like, hey, why don't we start like our own thing, our own company? Because we all loved it, we all really enjoyed the outdoors and what it does to you, to your mental, physical well-being, your spiritual well-being. And so we started it's called The Great Adventure. Um, I call it, yeah, The Great Adventure, and it is an outdoor adventure company. And so hopefully when things get back to normal, we're taking, we'll take people out to, the places that we've kind of grown to love and appreciate. So that was a big one. That's a huge kind of a W for 2020. What else? Yeah. So it's been a very busy, interesting, um, crazy, heartbreaking year. Let me see. Yeah, I've had family members get COVID-19, so I've learned how that, it's seriously no joke, man. You know, it's devastating. But I've learned to learn to how to navigate that and take care of people that are, recovering from that. So that's been a very enriching experience, and I'm very thankful for that. Um, yeah, I start to write more, journal more consistently. I've read more books than I've ever read in my life, and that's been awesome because I grew up reading. I grew up in a household where my parents were pretty strict in terms of they wouldn't let me watch TV. And if they did, only be for like an hour on a Saturday, So I grew up reading a lot, and that was really helpful for me as I grew up in learning how to write and how to speak and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of rediscovered my love for reading and writing. I started blogging. Um, yeah, and I think because I've kind of dived into kind of the creative endeavors more in 2020, it's kind of got me more mentally like on top of things, mentally kind of sharp, mentally healthier. I think it's kind of kept me just really engaged in in my thought life, and I feel like that's really important to just be really aware of how you think. I feel like a lot of times we just don't really realize like we think a certain way, like we have like these neural. Sorry about that, my camera just kind of shut off. But what I was saying is that we we really don't think about how we think, and I think this year really helped me to understand how I think and how to think in a more healthier way, in a more life-giving way. So that's that. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm already over an hour now, but I hope that this was like a relaxing, comforting time for you. Oh shoot, okay, sorry, one more thing. I think the knife community was like a big help for me personally, because everything else in my life and in our lives kind of upended itself. Nothing was normal anymore, and I feel like there was little pockets of normalcy that kind of was like a comfort for me personally. One of it was like my knife hobby. One of it was the knife community, because despite the craziness kind of going around me and around all of us, I felt like whenever I had time, I could sit back and just watch knife reviews, and more than that, just like listen to other knife nuts like myself just talking about knives, talking about like their latest score, or I don't know, just talking about their lives. I feel like that was in one sense it was in one way very comforting to me. It's kind of like I would liken it to like sitting by the fire and just shooting the breeze, and I feel like that was really important for me, and I think it's really important for all of us, to have those little pockets of comfort or pockets of like normalcy, and so I feel like the knife community was really that, in 2020, you know what I mean? And despite all the crazy, and I know like we all kind of had our own things going on in life, some of us lost our jobs, some of us lost family members, friends, but at the same time, we had kind of these little pockets of comfort, you know what I mean? And so, really, I think that's what I want my YouTube channel to be. I don't want to just dedicate it to like knife reviews. I also want to I want it to be an experience for you, where an experience like sitting by the fire, having a nice cup of coffee or a nice cup of tea or hot cocoa and just shooting the breeze, And so yeah, because I'm a big knife guy, like a lot of times I'll be talking about like knives and. But I want to bring in other things. I love my 2020 Toyota Tacoma. I've taken it, it's kind of like my adventure rig. So, I might bring videos about that, or about camping in the outdoors, because I'm a big outdoors guy. And so, yeah, whatever kind of whatever I fancy, I'm going to bring in. And I hope that this channel will become a little pocket of comfort for you, a little pocket of inspiration or motivation or encouragement for you. So that's really my heart and my goal for this channel, is to be that campfire, shooting the breeze kind of an experience. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. And I really pray and I really do hope that 2021 will be a big blessing for you, that it will be the year where you just grow, where you learn, and I'm sure you're going to, because that's just life, but I do really hope that you come to really find the things that you're grateful for. There's so many things to be grateful for. So anyways, with that being said, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll see you guys on the next video. All right, take care.